frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before I knew. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I like to be away in my patience. Stay up, I feel so outdated. How can we look the other way? Sun is out, but the sky is gray. What would happen if I took a chance? It's always hard at first glance. I don't wanna, but I know I gotta do it. The truth is hard to swallow, I think I'll chew it. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I wish I knew.
What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Uncle REG live. That's right. Woo! Yeah. On this Sunday rant, I'm gonna do some ranting, but we got lots to talk about. I might be on here for a while today. I'm going through a lot of stuff. It is Sunday, we still on the first of the month, it's the 9th, so we're getting up there, man. We're getting towards the middle of the month, but we still just, we want to support the channel. I appreciate it. Appreciate it and stuff, just support the channel and stuff, hit the poll. I don't think nobody came in yet, so, let's hit the poll. I have a poll about, we'll talk about people with tattoos, black people, mainly, with tattoos. Apparently, I know, did a little research, find out they got the most tattoos out here besides any other race. And I'm like, wow, more than white people? Huh? Yeah, I don't know. Shit. Even though white, tattoos were relegated to mostly white people at one point in history, they was like the only ones that was in that business, white guys. That's it, but it expanded over the years, and black people got into it, and they really got into it, really got into it. But we can go over that and go over, is Atlanta a gay city? It's known for the LGBTQ. Capital of America South. Is it? We want to know. We want to know out here, folks. Yeah, you live in Atlanta. Do you live in Atlanta? Let's make sure y'all can hear me. All right, I'm all right. So, folks, where we gonna start at? Where we gonna start at? Well, I'm gonna start on this. Get there. Let's see the Navy. I'm gonna do the other stuff first. Do this Navy first. Apparently, the U.S. Navy reveals is actually revolting against Trump because of the situation with not getting no supplies, being on a long extended tour. Some of the ships had damage to it because of rain hit them. The government's trying to cover it up and stuff, but it's real bad. I'm just gonna play the video. Let's hear what this person have to say. This is from the Midas Touch. I'm gonna go ahead and play that. But anyway, support the channel. I appreciate it. Support the channel. You can give me $1, $2, $3 if you want. Give me cash app. $1, $2, $3. Or become a member. $1, $2, $3. I got a lot of member videos on there, and I got only member content too. So, but that's the highest tier. You only go to $6.99. So you get in the deal, you become a member and stuff. You always get keep up, because if you don't miss my live, it'll be on the members. Some lives I keep, public, but most of the lives will be in the members. Because, YouTube, their policy and stuff, it might be too racy and might not get full monetization and all that shit. Now, once I get fully monetized, I'm going to deal with that again. But this time I'm putting it all over on So, I'm gonna get rid of the war news first. So support the channel, and give me a like and give me, a share, or give me a sub. I could use some subs out here. So let's go play this video, man. This is wild, folks. Okay, let me. So we're going to hear what the Midas Touch have to say about the U.S. Navy revolt against Trump on aircraft carriers. Yeah, I think they got like 2 aircraft carriers out there now, but they got problems feeding the people on there, getting supplies, getting anything. I mean, it's bad, but I'm going to let him explain.
Courageous Navy sailors are revolting against Donald Trump and his unlawful war. That's right, our Navy sailors aboard those supercarriers in the Middle East have been telling their family members how atrocious their conditions are, how they hate being complicit in war crimes, how they fear they are going to die on these supercarriers. And these are carriers that have been out at sea on deployments for record-setting times as morale is at an all-time low. You see, this past week in San Diego at the Naval Air Station North Island, at an area in there called the Island Club, there were 200 family members who had family on the USS Abraham Lincoln, which has now been.
What's up, Eric Ray? What's up, man? What's going on, man? What's going on? All right. Yeah. What's up? We're gonna be here for a while today. This Sunday, we're gonna work it. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's continue.
Deployed for, as of that day, about 258 days. Now about 262 days or so it's been deployed. Now that deployment is very long, but then there was also the USS Gerald Ford that was deployed 326 days. And
that's crazy. 326 days. That was almost a year. I thought it would go out like 3 months or something, or maybe 3 months or something. And that's it. Come back, restock, vacation or whatever. You staying out there that long, and then they're there too to enforce a blockade, but they don't got enough weapons to enforce a blockade now. Boy, I'm telling you, when Trump get out, Heath Seth, Secretary of Defense or War now, they gonna fry him, man. They gonna fry him, man. Ain't nothing Trump gonna do anything about it. Trump ain't got his back. Trump got nobody back. You see how he doing the Tate brothers, threw them completely under the bus. They don't give a fuck. But we're gonna talk about the Tate brothers too. Play a video of that one too. But let's go.
That left mid to late May from its deployment and came back. Then you had the George H.W. Bush, which has been deployed for about 109 days or so. And because the U.S. has lost all control in the war and is unable to even guarantee its own safety, the George H.W. Bush supercarrier had to go down past the tip of Africa rather than go through the Red Sea because it feared that it would be hit by the Houthis. Isn't that a sign as well that the U.S. has completely...
That's insane. Back in the day, America ships, nobody would try to hit them. Now, man, it's becoming a joke, man. Becoming a joke. You got to evade getting hit now. This is crazy. This shouldn't be happening. But we got who in the office? We got who running the military? Crackbox about to get us in some real quagmire, man. If this ain't stopped, Anyway, let's go.
Lost the war. So you had these family members show up at the Island Club in San Diego on Thursday for an in-person meeting. You had the acting Secretary of the Navy, Hung Cao, was there, and he was there along with other top Navy people. We'll talk about what went down. And these family members confronted the head of our Navy and saying, you know, we know that our family members are suffering from serious mental health issues. They're unable to really even eat appropriate food to get basic nutrition. These showers are all moldy. The living conditions are rancid. The plumbing doesn't work. The toilets don't work.
Why ain't nobody fixing all this stuff on the ship? Don't they have maintenance guys on the ship to fix this? What's going on? What happened? Or they don't have the necessary parts to fix the ship no more. What's going on, man?
Work. The basic day-to-day living has been awful. By the way, do you remember back several months ago on the Midas Touch Network, we were showing you the food that they were being served on the Abraham Lincoln and the Gerald Ford? Remember we were covering that, and it was like these pieces of meat, like just little tiny nuggets of meat.
What the fuck is this shit? Is this supposed to be fish? What is the fuck is it? What kind of meat is that? Okay, we know that's corn. I mean, carrots. Okay, I'm having that today. So, hey. It's supposed to be good for your eyes. It's good for your eyes, nigga. What the fuck is this shit, dog? What the fuck is this? Are you sure that's not like some sole of a shoe, inside of a shoe or something? I don't know. I want to eat that shit. And this shit here, I don't know. It looks like that shit been, been in storage too long. That piece of meat, if you can call it meat. Jeez. But anyway, let's go.
That were hard to even decipher what it was. And then you had Hegseth and everybody in the Trump regime saying, no, that's not true. That's a lie. As though our sailors were lying to their family members. I mean, you had the Trump regime defaming our sailors who have been deployed for these massive periods of time. Remember early on, too, in the Gerald Ford, they had all that issue with the plumbing. The plumbing backed up and the sewage spilled. You had feces everywhere. And then on top of that, there was the fire from the laundry room, although some people believe it's possible that the USS Ford was struck by Iran. But the
now, this came from Russian news. I don't know how they got somebody in there to record that, or maybe somebody from there was on the ship and they recorded it, because we'll never see nothing like this on regular TV, man. It'd be an outrage. Get the whole barracks burnt up and shit. Ain't got nowhere to sleep and shit. They should have brought that ship in, man.
Official story, I don't know, maybe even worse, that there was a laundry fire because just the basic nuts and bolts don't work in our Navy anymore under Hegseth and Trump and Hung Cao and all of these.
But they want more money, but you can't feed the people. But then you feed the Pentagon. You give the Pentagon, steak and corn on the cob, seafood. They eat good at the Pentagon. But your Navy is not eating good. Your men overseas ain't eating good because they can't get food to them. What kind of shit is that? And I think when the Navy they stops at certain countries like Greece and stuff like that, I think that they're not getting the warm reception. They really don't want them there. Because of this war. Because of Trump. So now troops can't go here and can't go there. They can't go in and restock, because they won't do good with them. That's bad. That's bad.
These idiots, and it spread, and there was like 600 to 1,000 beds were destroyed. People had to sleep on the floor, and remember, it had to dock in Crete, like in Greece, to get fixed. And then the story came out how close it was for all of our sailors, like dying, like they almost all got killed. And then this was covered up. We were covering it right when it happened, that massive fire on the Gerald Ford. And so you had the Gerald Ford.
They got hit. That ship got hit by the Iranians. I'm sure they got hit. That's probably why they want to pull those aircraft carriers in close to the coast because they're afraid to get hit. Probably more damage than we think. But it's a media blackout, of course. It's a media blackout. War propaganda, of course.
Ford is deployed for 326 days, which is unheard of. I mean, that's a post-Vietnam record. Now you have the Abraham Lincoln, 259, 262 days or so, and the people, our sailors are suffering, and that's what their family members were saying. And they were saying that their family member sailors who were on these ships are saying, we don't want to be involved in these war crimes. We know that the Trump regime is killing the little girls in Manab. We don't want to be associated with these war crimes of Trump and Netanyahu. That's been a kind of consistent, and people were clapping in the room, and they were yelling at the top naval officers and the acting secretary of Navy. Then on Thursday night, there was also there was like a virtual meeting and virtual call as well. So there was the in-person call at the in-person meeting at the Island Club at that San Diego base. Then there was a virtual meeting, and at the virtual meeting, you had family members of the 5,000 or so service members, sailors on the Abraham Lincoln, again reiterating the horrific, putrid conditions. And then there was like this gimmick that the Navy tried to run, that the Trump regime ran. So the family members have very specific issues. Look, the showers don't work, the plumbing doesn't work. They're not getting the mail because the Fifth Fleet port in Bahrain has been destroyed by Iran. So our mail isn't even getting to them, and it's very hard for them to reach out to us.
So they can't even get no mail. Boy, man, somebody didn't think when they were trying to attack Iran. Somebody wasn't thinking at all. That's because you got Trump in. You need friends over there. You ain't got no friends over there. This is what happens when your friends start to shrink over in the Middle East. This is what happens. Nobody want to fuck with you. You get attacked from all sides. Hold on real quick. Let's continue.
And when we do hear from them, we hear how horrible it is. And then the stunt that the Trump regime tried to pull at these meetings and in the virtual meetings, they were like, okay, we're going to text somebody aboard the ship right now. Oh, they say everything's fine and that what you're hearing from your family members is false. Can you believe that shit? Excuse my language. Can you believe? I mean, I guess you can because it's the Trump regime, and they're absolutely horrific.
It's crazy, man.
And then what they're trying to dangle over these family members, they're like, well, we are getting ready. The USS Theodore Roosevelt, the USS Teddy Roosevelt, that carrier, we're preparing that. We can't tell you when that's gonna replace the Abraham Lincoln, but we're working on it. We're working on it, okay? The earliest, by the way, would be what, December? So it seems like our sailors who are aboard that Abraham Lincoln supercarrier that's right out there, that's part of like the blockade, right? That's when they talk about the blockade, you get it, right? Right now, it's the George H.W. Bush and it's the Abraham Lincoln. It used to be the Gerald Ford, but that was out 326 days. It had the fire, which almost killed all of our sailors. They had all the issues there. So now it's George H.W. Bush and Lincoln. So now they're saying, okay, well, the Lincoln may leave and it could be replaced by the Teddy Roosevelt, but the Teddy Roosevelt won't be ready. I think it's in Hawaii. I think so. That won't be ready at least until Christmas. So what, they're going to be out there for 400 days? I mean, they're going to be out there for the better part of a year. I mean, this is some sick stuff. I want to give a hat tip to MS Now. They got the scoop. They got the audio leaked to them from the family members who attended the in-person meeting at the Island Club at the San Diego base and the virtual meeting that also happened Thursday night. Can I read from you just a little bit of it, may I? Here's how it's described, and hat tip to MS Now for this scoop. In a combative face-to-face confrontation on Thursday night in San Diego, angry military families challenged the acting Secretary of Navy, Hung Kao, over difficult conditions aboard the USS Lincoln. Among the concerns brought up in this contentious meeting, there was that meeting, then the virtual meeting, the sailors' mental health, safety on deck, a lack of supplies, food shortages, water contamination, and disruptions in the mail system, which have caused many care packages en route to the ship to be lost in transit for months. The fact that family members aren't able to see their family and they've been gone so long, they've had children born and big life developments. You have lots of people, again, don't want to be associated with the war crimes that are taking place. And these are things that were raised to Hung Kao. 200 families attended in person, then there was many more on the virtual meeting. At times, spouses of sailors of the ships were in tears, asking the Navy leaders what was being done to address mental health issues, exhaustion. One parent said her daughter feels that she is never going to come home and believes she's going to die on the ship. One woman questioned the mission and said she found it difficult to be proud of her sailor when she believed the military was killing innocent civilians. And her sailor, her husband, who's a sailor on the Abraham Lincoln supercarrier, expressed guilt about what he was doing. Her comment was met with applause from the audience. You had Vice Admiral Joseph Cahill, Vice Admiral Douglas Verissimo, and top commanders for the Naval Surface Forces were there, and they were just making the family members feel even worse about it. And they were like, oh, well, you know what? This is what it means to be an American. This is what it means to be a patriot. This is what Donald Trump and Hegseth want them to do. So they got to do what Trump and Hegseth say they need to do. One spouse said they have a baby at home who was born during the USS Abraham Lincoln's deployment. My husband has gotten no time with her. We have friends that are on this boat as well. They've yet to meet their children. And I just think like a lot of us are kind of confused and just frustrated right now. We're in limbo. We have no date about when they're going to come home. And then those commanders were like, I wish we could help you, but there's really nothing we can do right now. There's also issues about exhaustion, low morale, mental health of the sailors and Marines as the war now reaches its 23rd week. Many in the virtual town hall question what mental health resources are available. The military leaders at this meeting acknowledged that there had been a stubborn clog that caused many of the toilets in a certain zone of the ship not to work for an extended period of time, but maintained that sailors on the ship had been trained to address the plumbing issues. By the way, in the USS Gerald Ford, the one that has departed in May. But remember all of those plumbing issues right around when the war was launched by Trump and Netanyahu? There was feces all over the floor. There was piss all over the floor and toilet.
Look at that shit. What's going on? Or they haven't gave up? Well, what happened? I thought they were supposed to be fixing stuff. There's people on there that, well, that's what they do. They just fix stuff like this. What the fuck happened? They just letting shit go? I don't know.
Water all over the floor. These supercarriers have not received the maintenance that they need under the Trump regime. It's really horrible stuff. Mold in the showers. It's not appealing for any of us. Difficult ventilation systems on the ship. Unique supply chain challenges taking place, which is causing food shortages because Iran has been striking those ports like Bahrain and other areas. So we can't get the food from the 5th Fleet port onto the ships. And because our ships are sitting ducks out there and just doing the blockade, as Trump calls it, there's no way to get them. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. The Red Sea is closed, right? That's why.
See, a lot of people don't know that the Red Sea is closed too. They closed the Red Sea. I think the Houthis, I think over on that side, closed the strait over there. So you got both straight. That means that remember it was 20% gas going through, but now you got another 20%. So I'm telling you, all this stuff is going to hit like this, bam. Before you know it, we're going to wake up. It's going to be $150 barrel of gas and shit. The average price of gas would be about $6-7 across the country. Here in California, we'll be paying about damn $10. Straight up. The cheapest, that is. Let's continue.
The George H.W. Bush had to go around Africa. So that's why you can't get food to the ships, because we don't have control over anything, because Iran won the war. Like, we all get that, right? There was this huge backlog of food, so you have all of that taking place, okay? I showed you the...
Yeah, I told y'all the other week ago, last week, that they finally got some food on the ships. Finally got some food on the ships after all this time. Like I said, the Secretary of Defense, we'll still call it defense. It ain't war, because, if it was war, this wouldn't be happening. You be thinking like a wartime, secretary. You don't. This dude is insane. He shouldn't have been. I told him he should never been appointed in the first place. But Trump put him in because he was a yes man. Worstest person you could have put in charge of armed forces. You'll go down as the worst. Wait, let's continue.
The photos going back to the issues with the Gerald Ford. I showed you the food issues, right, with the Abraham Lincoln. I mean, look at that. I don't even know what this is. And then our military had the audacity to say, no, that's...
That looked like a tortilla, a fucked up tortilla that's not warm, and some stringy meat. What he supposed to make a taco with that goddamn shit? This is some fucked up shit, dog. Come on, man. They should have better food than that. Why, them motherfucking fools up in the Pentagon eating lobster steak. $100 lobsters. $100 steaks. Spaghetti, meatball, Taco Tuesday. Prime rib and shit. This is wild, man. This is insane, man. But let's continue. Hold on. You got the poison. Don't care what these people or Trump cares about is making sure Iran doesn't blow up beside him when he got his money came from his Cook family. Yeah, of course. Yes. I agree. It's about the money, man. Now people start to see that Trump is about the money. It's about him making his money. All this money he doing, he's trying to build a ballroom, a new ballroom and shit and this and like that. I said, come on, what you doing, man? Reflecting pond, shit. I'm glad somebody, fucked that shit up. Fuck. I don't think he get in trouble for saying that. Because he already blaming somebody for it, But I think it was already a botched job. I think that whoever he got to do it didn't know what the fuck they was doing and shit. And maybe it was on purpose. I just don't. But anyway, that's where that's where all money going to. That's where the money going to. And the GOP don't have enough balls to go against them. They just don't have enough balls. But it seems like some of them are getting little balls. We got little balls. They need big balls to stop them. Big balls. This is crazy. Yeah, Pete spent $75 million on lobster and crab and expensive steak. And these guys get stuck in. That's right, exactly, man. It's insane. Look at this shit. Look at the food here. Dude, you don't want to eat this shit. And we civilians. Someone gave us that. What the fuck is this shit, man? I wouldn't even give it to my shit to my dog or my cat. The cat will look at that shit. I'd rather go hungry. I'd rather go hungry, nigga. Fuck you. I ain't eating that shit. I ain't even fit to give a dog and shit. Look at that shit, dog. It's crazy. Now the plate is clean. Look at the plate. The plate is nice and clean. But fuck at this, the tray. I mean, but shit, come on, look. This is bullshit. Let's go.
It's not a real photo. Those are lies. Like what? Our sailors are liars? No, they're telling the truth. What are you talking about? Then there was the laundry room fire that required basically our service members to sleep on the floor. They all lost it. But even worse than the fact that they didn't have beds, they don't have sheets. It all got burned. You saw the footage that our military was trying to cover up, right? I think we have the footage.
I don't understand. Where's the reapply ship? You always have out in the ocean. You have a reapply ship. A resupply ship. Do they have that anymore or something? I don't understand this shit. Oh, it costs too much. You can't send that. No. Let them pull into the port. You can't pull in the port because it's all blown up and shit. Because you're at war with them. These people, and they played you out. This is bullshit, man. But anyway, let's go.
Footage that came in from foreign governments had to post it. Like this came in from Russia and other places, but it's authentic. This photo, I wouldn't show you videos that aren't authentic. This is what it looked like, just so you can see. Now, a few points I want to bring up right now. You had Pete Hegseth. What is he repeatedly saying about how he's going to improve morale? He goes, those
Thanks for those comments, Joyce Beckford. Let's go.
Flyovers that we're doing. When we fly our planes really low, how they do those jets that fly right over the water and looks like they're going to kill the people on the beach, which they go, yeah, lethality. That's what Pete Hegseth. We're going to keep doing the flyovers until we improve morale. Here, play this clip.
The warrior ethos of our department, again, spirit. And I will know the flyovers will indeed continue until morale improves. But that's
Man, they gonna burn. They gonna fry this dude. This dude don't know what's gonna happen to him. They gonna fry the fuck out of him. Because once midterm come and Trump is out, this is over. They gonna have him in court, man. He might as well go to Argentina with Trump. when all this is over and shit. You know, you would hide out because they're gonna get you. Boy, he's gonna get it. The Democrats get back in. Damn. But anyway, let's go.
That's also spirit. Parades, 250, flyovers, the American people seeing and feeling their military in ways they have not in the past. That's spirit.
And then you have Hung Kao, who has the acting Secretary of Navy, who says, the president is always 5 steps ahead of the Iranians. No, you can't even get our sailors food. The toilet bowls are clogged with feces, and there's feces all over the floor. Our sailors are suffering because you can't even give them the most basic supplies. There's mold, the showers don't work. So if you can't do the basics, right, you are, no wonder you've run out of munitions, right? Like, you've seen me do lots of coverage over the past several days about the munition issue, right? That the U.S. ran out of Patriot interceptors. It ran out of THAAD interceptors. We've run out of SM-2, 3, and 6, SM-6, anti-ballistics on the Navy destroyers. We don't have those. The ATACMS, the HIMARS, the offensive weapons, we ran out of those. The Arab nations that we supply these weapons to, they've pretty much run out of those as well. You have and now you have the issue on the ships, where morale's at an all-time low, where the sailors aren't even getting food. Think about that. And so I showed you what Hung Kao said there.
Congratulations on that.
We love that. Secretary, I know you don't want to get ahead of the Commander-in-Chief and the Secretary of War here, but there are a lot of Americans who watch the big weekend show, and every weekend we say tensions are rising. Now there's a...
Fox News and Fox News, man, is just running interference, man. They just trying to keep up morale and shit. You know, they have to say anything they can not to tell the truth. I know some of y'all watch Fox News, but hey, man, they on the wrong side of history on this one, man. You know, but eventually, even they gonna have to tell the truth. They're gonna have to say, okay, the buck stop here. And I think some of them is starting to do that now. And Trump is mad at them because they're saying little stuff here and there, which they shouldn't be saying. Hey, it is what it is, but let's go.
Memorandum. Now there's a ceasefire. Maybe it's not a ceasefire. We read some truth socials from the president, and there are some Americans who are a little confused as to where we are now. They don't know if their gas prices are going to go up or go down. What can you say to the American people who are watching? They believe in the president, but they're sometimes a little confused at all the steps and all the maneuvering going on.
Well, you know, the enemy has a vote, but here's the thing: the president's always 5 steps ahead of him, and we can be the best friends in the world or the worst enemy. And look what's happening down in Venezuela. We're bringing aid and support to the people of Venezuela, and we're patrolling the seas all around the world, including South China Sea, as well as, you know, in Europe, the Mediterranean, the Gulf. We're there to do whatever the president needs.
And Hung Kao now says we need 350 more ships. That's why we are pushing for $1.5 trillion, because Donald Trump wants to now build Trump-class battleships that'll...
That's a waste of time. Why you want to build those ships? You're not going to be in office. That's it. You got 1 more year, and that's it. But 2 more years, so what? That's it. Midterms go the way it's supposed to go. You're a lame duck president for the rest of the remaining of the years. You want to build your bad... As I said, once the Democrats get in, they're going to thrash everything, whatever plans he had, they're going to thrash everything. And unless he try to use the nuclear stuff to try to stay in office or something, or try to plan another line 9/11, let another 9/11 get through and stuff, and trying to call martial law. I don't know. I don't see it. He's like planning stuff like he's gonna be in forever and shit. This country will be dead to rights. if he stay in even another month over his term. For real though. That's the wrong one. Yeah. There we go. All right. Let's continue.
Cost close to $1 trillion when all is said and done. The budget total for the military Trump wants is $1.5 trillion. But in this day and age with drones, unmanned submersives, anti-drone technology, Trump wants to build battleships because he likes the aesthetic. He likes the way he doesn't like the way stealth looks. He doesn't like the way aircraft carriers looks, but he likes the way battleships look between World War I and World War II. So he wants to spend like $1 trillion on Trump battleships. This is where the money's going, by the way. In addition to, it's why our debt is skyrocketing, and this could be going to like healthcare and things. This is what it's going to, and he can't even get food to our sailors in an active combat zone right now. So what the hell are you doing with your battleships? Here's what Hung Kao said. Here, play this clip.
Before, I mean, we fought 20 years of war, and the Navy was very involved, but it wasn't always the boats that we were thinking about. Now that's been the top line. You know, we're in littoral warfare, brown water warfare, using ships in ways that maybe we haven't in the last couple of decades. Where is the Navy when it comes to fighting a war like this?
I mean, we're always ready. We're always on deployment all the time. But right now we need 350 ships. And that's exactly why the president is pushing for this $1.5 trillion budget so we can build the ships we need. Because ships like the USS Gerald Ford and the entire strike group was extended till 11 months on deployment because we didn't have enough ships to backfill them. And that's why we need these ships out there. But I tell you what, the strength of our Navy and Marine Corps is the sailors and Marines that are manning our ships and bases, and they're getting things done.
I know, it's absolutely horrific, right? Absolutely. And then on Wednesday, before this meeting took place, Hung Kao released the following memo. I kid you not, this is real. Acting Secretary of the Navy's warrior ethos. This went to all Navy. Everybody got this in the Navy. The bedrock of the Navy and Marine Corps is our warrior ethos, and its direct relationship to good order and discipline forge these principles into the foundation of our lethality as a naval force. What the hell word salad does that even mean? We must recognize the urgency for an immediate reevaluation of our attention to basic military standards, appearance, and professionalism across the department. So Hegseth, Hung Kao, and Trump are now attacking our sailors and saying that they don't meet the basic standards and professionalism. Actually, they do. How dare you say that about our service members? You want to talk about basic professionalism? How about you get our service members food? How about you get them functioning toilets and functioning showers? How about you deliver their damn mail, you traitors?
That's insane. That's insane, man. Now, I'm going to end it right there. We heard enough of that. But I had to start it off with that, folks. Get over here. All right. So the next thing I want to get to is Andrew Tate. We got to talk about this. Andrew Tate. And this guy, I think he's a lawman attorney, but he talked about the Tate brother extradition motion they just put in. This is gonna fail. We know this gonna fail. Tate brothers are cooked. You know, Trump can't get involved with them, but he's gonna explain it on somewhat legal terms. You know, let's go back over here. All right, let's go ahead and look at this. Tate brothers is finished, man. As far as I'm concerned, they lawyers on some BS, man. That dude is. And then he got the nerve to threaten Trump and Rubio and their sons. Come on, man. Who does that? Let's go.
Asking that they be let out pending the determination. The lawyer for the Tate brothers is seeking their release. He just filed a motion asking that they be let out pending the determination of their extradition. Let's discuss. I'm Dave Ehrenberg, former state attorney for Palm Beach County, aka the Florida Lawman. Thank you for your support. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And I've got the motion right here. So this is a very thorough motion, and I think it's easily debunked. Because if there was ever a flight risk, that's it. The Tate brothers, with their Bugattis and airplanes and their connections around the world and their multiple passports, they flaunt their wealth. They flaunt their connections. They flaunt their travel. And you're telling me that they're not a flight risk?
Yeah, see, they shot their own selves in the foot by bragging and saying, I got multiple passports, I got multiple licenses, and, I got different currency and all this shit. I got homes everywhere, this and that and third. I'm pimping women. They shot their own self in the foot. Now they're complaining because they in jail and they're not used to the conditions in jail. Well, of course nobody is. Jail is jail. Shit, what do you expect? It ain't supposed to be the Four Seasons, hotel or whatever, the Embassy Suites or whatever, or the Hilton. Come on now, stop it. Anyway, let's go.
So let's break down their motion and why it falls flat. So the first problem I have with the motion is how it handles the legal threshold for bail in international extradition cases, okay? In a standard U.S. criminal case, there's a presumption in favor of pretrial release under the Bail Reform Act. That's federal law, and it's different than in international extradition. See, in international extradition, the exact opposite applies under the Supreme Court precedent Wright versus Henkel. This is from 1903. There's a strong legal presumption against bail in these types of cases. The U.S. government has a treaty obligation to deliver these requested fugitives to foreign allies, especially here, UK, a very strong treaty. And if an extraditee, the Tate brothers, they flee, it creates a diplomatic disaster. And thus, to get bail, a defendant has to satisfy a two-pronged test. You have to prove by clear and convincing evidence that they're neither a flight risk nor a danger to the community. And number two, you have to prove that special circumstances exist, extraordinary, rare factors that take the case entirely out of the norm. And here they're saying the UK is using this court to bypass the Romanian proceedings and deny Romania its right to hold a trial and impose any sentence that may result. In short, the UK is trying to use this court to jump the line. Keep in mind, the reason why the Tate brothers are not in Romania is because the Trump administration lobbied the Romanian government to release the Tate brothers to the United States. So the UK's like, screw this, we're moving ahead. And they're saying that while they're in the United States, they did not flee.
So actually, the Tate brothers forced the UK to jump the line. Should have stayed in Romania. But I really feel that they was going to push a trial on them soon. And they want to get out of Romania because they didn't know that anytime they could wake up and somebody might kill them or something like that. Maybe they got some death threats. Maybe they want to get out of there real quick. Maybe somebody was going to off them or something. I don't know. But anyway, these two got problems. And their problems have just begun. But anyway, let's continue.
Well, they still flaunted being free, but they did go back when they needed to for their hearings. They said that the Tates have been on pretrial release for almost 3 years. They've complied with all the conditions of their release and were in the United States under the authority and judicial supervision of the Romanian courts. So they're not a risk of flight. So this is the way they're trying to say they're not a risk of flight, because they haven't left as of now, and also that special circumstances exist because you have the UK jumping to the front of the line. But the problem with these arguments is, as I said, the extradition law that controls here does not care that they complied with the terms of their pretrial release from Romania for 3 years.
Exactly.
A U.S. District Court is an independent judicial body. They're evaluating a treaty between the U.S. and the U.K. A Romanian prosecutor's decision or their allowing judicial release has zero binding authority on a U.S. magistrate judge. And the exposure has now changed dramatically. See, the charges in the UK are much tougher than the charges in Romania. The UK has expanded the indictment to 59 total charges. That's adding sweeping allegations of sexual assault, rape, human trafficking, severe abuse, child pornography. So you can't say that they're not a flight risk because they didn't flee from the lesser charges from Romania. Now they're facing the rest of their lives in prison. So they are a flight risk. And what about that argument that the UK is jumping the line? Well, because the UK got tired of waiting. Now, it is true that there was a Bucharest Court of Appeal decision that deferred their surrender to the UK until after Romanian proceedings concluded. So that's what the Tate brothers' lawyer is leaning on. But it doesn't bind a magistrate judge in Miami from saying, we have a treaty here. We have the U.S.-UK treaty. And according to our treaty, we send them back to the UK. If you have an issue about jumping the line, take it up with the UK. Our question here is not to try the case. It's not to deal with Romanian law. It's to deal with what's in front of us, which is the treaty between the United States and the UK. Also, the Romanian court's order was contingent on the Tates physically remaining in Romania under judicial supervision.
Exactly.
So the whole reason why they say we're going to hold off on the UK and we're going to move forward here in Romania is because the court assumed that the Tates would be in Romania. They were under house arrest. But they were allowed to leave, as I've said, because of the Trump's administration's request. They're the ones who got them to leave. So you have this weird situation that you don't get to take advantage of a Romanian court's order that assumed that they're going to stay in the country and then get to leave the country and say, oh, the court's order still exists. So Romania was no longer exercising physical custody over the Tate brothers. And the UK is not circumventing Romanian sovereignty by seeking the Tate's extradition from the United States. It's just simply enforcing an active arrest warrant. That's it. And the U.S. legal system?
Yeah, this was planned. I really believe that this was planned. What do you say? Gotta give somebody up.
It evaluates the request based on where the defendants are located. Where they're located now, not where they were previously permitted to travel. So, again, argument falls flat. Then the lawyer for the Tates, they complained about the harsh conditions of confinement, also anticipated length of proceedings. Yeah, it's going to take a while because you're fighting extradition. There's one way to speed up the proceedings. Stop fighting extradition and go back to the UK and fight the charges there. The lawyer for the Tate said that due process requires the Tate's release because they are being held in highly restrictive conditions of confinement without probable cause for an indefinite period of time. Then they complained about being in solitary confinement in the SHU. But again, that's not punishment. That is there to protect them because of who they are, because of their own words and their character and the fact that they have a target on their back. This is to protect them. And here are the alpha males, and they're complaining in here. The Tates have limited contact.
Yeah, the alpha. They supposed to be the alpha male. You supposed to be bad. You shouldn't be worrying about that. You supposed to be the alpha male. You supposed to be the top G. You know, you supposed to train all them guys how to fight and stuff. You supposed to be the tough guy. See, that shouldn't be no problem for you. You know, walk on the line, walk on the main line and shit. Come on now. You should say, well, I want to get put on the main line. Fuck that. I don't want to be on psychiatric bar. Fuck that. Put me in the main yard with everybody else. I'm the top G out here. I'm a red pill master. I'm Mr. Masculine. Shit. I get all the women. Okay, so what happened to your channel? What happened to my channel? This is a new channel. The other channel I got rid of. Starting over. This is Uncle REG now. The other channel I got rid of. Where's the bad guys gone? Now you should know this, and unless you the same person trolling, you should already know this already. Activated. I don't know who the hell you are. You probably the troll who was tripping. You already know it. If you don't know it by now, go ask somebody. Whatever. But anyway, let's go.
With their families, no television, no radio, and no commissary access. They sleep without pillows on bunks shorter than they are tall. Further, in their first 15 days, they were permitted outdoor recreation 4 times, 1 hour each. That is 11 to 15 days. They had no time out of their cells. The Tates currently have no access to commissary, and they are losing weight. They're denied basic grooming products. Their attorney-client meetings take place in rooms monitored by cameras. An undersigned counsel was turned away from the facility twice in the past week alone. FDC Miami has already denied counsel's written request for non-shoe housing, but as the court is aware, United Kingdom's formal papers are not due for more than a month. It's not enough to get you out. Because the question is, are they a flight risk? And none of this debunks that. The defense also, they tried to dismiss the reports out there that there are intercepted wiretaps and messages, quoted media reports where Tristan allegedly discussed fleeing to Dubai or the U.S. to dodge enforcement, saying that's unreliable hearsay. But in extradition detention hearings, the strict rules of evidence do not apply, so judges regularly evaluate hearsay in investigative summaries.
See, that's the problem.
So
if you even hint on, or someone say that you said this and said that about trying to evade extradition, they can consider that. This is what he's saying. This is the law. They take everything in account. So like I said, they got a bad lawyer. The lawyer is the stupidest motherfucker. The lawyer just might say, hey man, I can't do nothing for you. Shit, you guys fucked. That's it. Y'all going back to England.
Oh, when you make statements that contemplate evading warrants, that will be used against you when it comes to bail. So,
and then when you're trying to, and then you threatening President Trump basically and Rubio, saying we're gonna put information out if you don't get us off. So already it looks bad, 10 times bad, 10x, 20x bad. Anyway, let's go.
I mean, this is a long motion. It's actually well crafted for public consumption, but as far as for a court of law, it falls short. It's so clear they're a flight risk. It's a tough argument to make. Lawyers did an admirable job of trying to make it, but in the end, this motion is going to fail. The court's going to keep them in jail pre-trial. And again, the quickest and easiest way out of this situation is to stop fighting extradition.
That's right.
And just go straight to the UK and face the music. But they're not going to do that. Andrew will keep tweeting from behind bars through third parties. Tristan will continue to do the same, although his tweets are less offensive than Andrew's, less aggressive, less angry. Maybe that's his approach. Maybe he'll want to cut a deal. I did a video on that already. But in the end, they're staying in prison pre-trial, and they will be extradited, and they will face justice back in the UK.
Let me get off of that. Now, Dinga, what's up, Dinga? Is I have a feeling that I don't think so. Not on this. Not on this. You don't want to break that treaty we got with the UK. No, that'd be bad blood. You can't go against England. England be running things. Trust me, it's a crown over it. No, they'll have some bad luck. Administration will be really in trouble then. And remember, they got everything on the Epstein files. They got the unredacted files. They're not playing around with that. They're leaving that alone. That's why nobody's saying a goddamn thing about nothing. About nothing. Anyway, before we move forward, let me take a break, get me a refill. All right, folks, I'm back. Okay, so what we gonna do first? All right, gotta talk about this. We're gonna talk about Spider-Man. Yeah, the Spider-Man movie, man. It seemed like, hey, man, shit, this might be the best movie that Marvel put out. Best Spider-Man. Oh, it's right on the crust of beating Avengers Endgame. Right now, so far, it made $1.67 billion globally. That's in 12 days. You know, right now, the debut, 360 million debut, with a dominant 145 domestic call. Canada is 650, and U.S. 160 million, international 1.1 billion, 1.67 billion. Yeah, this is the biggest domestic debut, 360 million opening, the second fastest, 1 billion internationally, became the second fastest to cross a billion milestone overseas, trailing only Avengers Endgame, and the third best domestic second weekend open, which was 145 for the second week. Jeez. I mean, this movie doing good. The movie is currently tracking an estimated final global total of 2.5 billion, which will place it at third highest grossing film of all time. Man, Spider-Man doing it. This is a must-see movie, man. Everybody want to see it, man. It is. Spider-Man got him going crazy out here, man. And I'm hearing that the CEO of what was it, Disney or Marvel or Sony, someone firing a lot of folks. I guess they thought that this movie was gonna fail. Okay, so why would you fire people because it was gonna fail? Unless you got an agenda. I don't know. It's weird shit. I don't know. I saw somebody do a video about that. I'm going like, okay, you should be glad, shit. You made that much money. Why are you firing employees? Doesn't make any sense to me. All right, so now let's get into this next news. WNBA. Apparently, there's a major debate over transgender players. And then you got 2 former NBA players announcing they're going to declare for the 2027 NBA draft to challenge the league rules. And that player, and those 2 players is Enes Kanter Freedom and Royce White. I think Royce White, he was on Fox News talking about, I think it was his brother. He was on Fox News talking about he's gonna enter the draft. Now this is a man, because he's saying that he's a transsexual. All this debate started from the 2026 in July. Indiana Fever guard Sophia Cunningham stated in an interview ESPN that she wanted to protect young girls in the locker room, that they should not have to go against biological men. Her remarks would quickly spark national attention and draw allies supporting an opposing stance. Now, she took a hard foul in the last game she had. You could tell it was clearly a blatant foul, flagrant foul. Really, I mean, you just clotheslined her, shit, fuck, that was crazy. Like that shit that Artest did to back in the day when he was playing. He was on the Lakers. I forgot what he did. Harden, yeah, like that. I mean, just clothesline motherfucker. I mean, just not trying to hide in nothing. Just boom, just clotheslined her. He's going for the layup. Crazy shit. I'm sure she got kicked out of the game and lost a couple money off of that. But anyway, yeah, but these 2 players that they want to join the they say Freedom claim to meet requirement based on a self-identification, and White is threatening legal action. But I think one of these guys was on for. I saw it today. I'm going like, I thought this was a joke. Well, I mean, is this guy seriously, or he just making fun of? But nobody was laughing, and he wasn't laughing. He was dead serious. He wanted to join. Why you want to join? Why? And this brother, he only played in the league for like 3 days before he got cut. I think he was on the He was in the Ice Cube League, the Big 3. He was in that league playing. But yeah, man, this guy he won't play, and then he's running for Congress. I think he's running for Congress or something, But Fox had him on, and I'm going like, okay, why you let him on saying this? why he want to play in the WNBA. What he was saying he figured that he'd be great. You know, he'd be a star there. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? But their thing is they want to test the rules. But the WNBA guidelines, you know, managed under collective bargaining agreement, okay, mandate only players who are women are eligible to play. Yet lack of specific definition regarding gender identity. That's where they don't jam them up at. You have to actually specify that it has to be no biological men. If a person born a biological man, you cannot play, and that's where they're trying to jam them up off at. They said, you know, if you're not a woman, you know, only women to play. But then if you identify yourself as a woman, it didn't say anything, like I said, about gender identity or body. You got to put that in there. This is crazy. This is crazy. Who's putting them up to this? Who's paying the money? Yeah, okay. Ernest Cantor. That's what I thought. He played with the Celtics. Well, former player with the Celtics, I guess. Oh, okay. Here we go. Royce White, who played in 3 games single NBA season more than 10 years ago, and former NBA center, have both, and Cantor, okay, both trying to get drafted by the Women's League next year under the league inclusionary approach. They should be eligible. Okay, Cantor legally changed his name to include freedom, become a U.S. citizen. Okay, reviewing the league eligibility to work out. Okay, he went viral Friday night, quickly followed a similar one from White, told on Fox News. I identified as sometimes as a woman for purposes of professional basketball. Who's putting these motherfuckers up to this shit, dog? I'm trying to figure out. This is okay. Cantor's statement, you know, he did not intend to mock or make fun or disrespect any community, but that he was pushing the NWA refine its guidelines around who can play in the league. So they want them to say that it can't be no biological men in the league, whatever gender. You can't have trans in there. They want them to say that. If you say that, then that means that somebody can come around and sue you and saying, well, why you trying to stop us from playing? I think they want them in the league. I don't think they're trans in the league. And I think the ultimate goal is to get trans players or women to play in the NBA. They're using the WNBA as a testing ground. This is what I'm thinking this is about. It's part of the agenda. It's part of the agenda. This is what I'm thinking. So, folks, we have to see what to see. Next year, be real interesting. So, the next thing I want to talk about is Keefe D. And let's go over this real quick. You know, Tupac murder trial starts Monday with jury selection. Keefe D, the main accuser. You know, he wasn't the one that pulled the trigger. That person is already dead. And the other person that was along with him, dead. There's nobody really left except Keefe D that was there in the car that killed Tupac. They all dead. And some others along with them. Kid D63 is the only one alive. And he is saying that, he was a shot caller. So they're going to get him because he was planning to murder. Now, if he get convicted, which he probably will, he'll get life in prison. But at least when this trial is over, we will actually find out the mystery of who killed Tupac, and this should be over. And I think there should be some restitution to Tupac family off of this and stuff like that. Tell you the truth. But I'm going to be covering the trial almost every day on this. Give you an update. Some people probably be out there. And it was in Las Vegas, so they'll probably be in Las Vegas hanging out in Las Vegas. It's hot now in Las Vegas, and so I hope they get a nice cool hotel, because you're gonna need it after you sit up over there. Vegas is hot as a motherfucker right now. It's hot here, but that's even hotter. So I hope so. I want to know if Tate gonna be out there. So I know the other dude, I forgot his name. He did the P. Diddy trial. He might be there. I know Any City Press gonna be probably there. That other guy, I can't remember his name. I'm fucking subscribed to him too. And the other brother that was he might be there too. That was at the P. Diddy trial. The other brother, he might be there. He got into it with Tisha Tales and stuff like that. He might be there and stuff. But we got to see who's gonna be there. Yeah. So if they are there, I'm sure they in Vegas right now. Yeah. So we're gonna see what's that about. I'll give you an update tomorrow on that. I got a lot of, I'm kind of backed up. I got a lot of videos I got to do anyway, so I'll put that on there too. But anyway, next thing I want to talk about is Sidney Star. We have to talk about Sidney Star before I get into the other stuff. Yeah. Sidney Star, we don't know what's going to happen yet. We know she got arrested and stuff. We got to find out court date. What is the court date? When is the court date on that? The 25th, almost the end of the month. Okay, so got a week or so. Yeah, it's got a period of court. So she got no bond. So I'm sure that this that's already bad already. Because of dealing with a minor, they arrested on 2 felony charges. It's aggravated child molestation, sodomy. That's 3, and sexual battery against a child under 16. Jeez. Now, they were saying that this kid was a football player, a star football player, and he looks big. He looks like he's grown. So I guess Sidney Star thought this person was 19. Come on, man. Really, 13 years old. You made that mistake? No, she wanted to be with some young kid that looked like he was overdeveloped. That's what I'm thinking, but it's still a kid. That's why I ran out the room and stuff where he said, when she pulled out her thing. But we got this video we want to play. Yeah. So we gotta check on that. So she got arrested August 2nd, and she get an appearance in court the 25th. Don't forget that. let me play this part with Political Flacco. He got this part. I think this was something that Tasha K did on her Tasha.com. He recorded it because I tried to find it. I couldn't find it. But this is I think this person is a relative of the kid. The relative of the kid, they know the kid. So she gave some real good details of what's really happening. So let's go ahead and play this.
Clearly tell that this boy was young.
Yeah, you can hear it. When I talked to the little boy on the phone, you can hear it. I am a mother of a 12-year-old. You can hear it in his voice. He's a baby. And the kid is saying while they on the elevator, sitting like, do you carry condoms? Like, asking this little boy.
She was, motherfuckers on some, she must have been on some dope or something. He gotta be. Asking little kid, do you carry condoms? Come on, man, really? So we know this motherfucker did this before. So motherfucker been PDF file. Come on, man, that's some wild shit. But let's go.
What did the little boy say to you?
He was just explaining, because I was talking to the sister. He was in the background. And you could tell he didn't want to talk too much, but he was just saying that how it was uncomfortable and how she was telling him to come here at the bar. Just telling me little, how it happened. More so like.
So she solicited him while she was at the bar. And what was his mom and sister at the time?
The mom, the sister said they just let the kids, I think they were checking in. Because they were checking in. Check-in 1 to 3. So everybody was kind of there early. You get what I'm saying? They couldn't check in, but Sidney Star had a room because I requested for that.
The parents are getting a lot of backlash, and I don't blame people, to be honest, because how is your eyes off your children long enough for a predator to be able to coerce them into their grip and then take them upstairs without you knowing? Now, Sidney Star is bold. Doing this in the middle of a lobby in front of a bunch of witnesses is bold.
That's crazy.
Like, man. It is bold. Now, Sidney Star is claiming that they thought the young boy was 19 years old.
So like I said, maybe this dude, this 13-year-old was kind of overdeveloped and stuff. I don't know. But come on, man. Even if it's overdeveloped, 13 years old, you should already know that person was way under 16. I give a motherfucker 1 year. Maybe 1 year. 13 looking at 14. But that's about it. I can't help you. I can't help you after that. I can't help you. You should have stayed away. Point blank. Motherfucker didn't want to because that's motherfucker was getting it. That's what he was chasing after. He was chasing after. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Oh, they're gonna throw the book at this motherfucker, man. For real though. Let's go.
I haven't laid eyes on a young boy, but people who have says that's impossible. Like, you can tell by the way the young boy is speaking, how he looks, his height, his everything. This does not look like a 19-year-old. This looks like clearly like as a very young boy. There's not a world where an adult will confuse this young boy for an adult. Even if you're a sicko who want to believe Sidney Star and want to believe that, they thought the boy was 19 years old, which, by the way, you have no reason to believe Sidney Star. Sidney Star is a pathological liar.
Yeah, then that 19-year-old shit, come on, man. Maybe, like I said, get 1 year or 13. Okay, he might look like he's 14. That's about it. I can't help you on that. No.
Like, she has documented a lot. Have you forgotten what Sidney Star did to Chingy? Ruined his life, his reputation, and everything he ever worked for? He couldn't feed his family anymore because of Sidney Star? Only for them to come out years later and admit that they lied on Chingy? They perpetuated a lie for years just to come out and admit, oops, sorry, I lied. Man. Yo, Chingy is a strong man for not suing the daylights out of Sidney Star. But even if
he don't need to, she's going to jail, or he going to jail for life. The way things are happening. Hold on real quick. All right, let's go.
If you are a sicko and like want to believe Sidney Star, what's the excuse for not disclosing who they are? Sidney Star knows who they are. Sidney Stars know what they are. Know the piece they're working with. Sidney Star know that young boy, even if she thought, and I keep saying she for some reason.
Everybody's saying she because the motherfucker look real close to a woman. It's just it's a normal identification. When you see somebody, you be thinking that okay, that's a man, that's a woman. You see that person, oh, that's a woman. But once you get up close to her or him, you'll find out what it is. I'm telling you, it was all my hormones that was shooting up, man. I'm telling you, you know, and you know, whatever hormone therapy you get taking and stuff. I ain't gonna be taking that now. Like I said, she's off all that stuff now in prison. She's off that stuff. So watch. You can see that motherfucker gonna be looking like a man. Probably got some hair coming, got some hair on her face. They ain't gonna give her no shave. I don't think they gonna. I don't know what they gonna do in there to get raised or not. You know, I don't know the motherfucking in general population or not. I don't know. We have to see. But they ain't got no hormones or none of that stuff in there, so we know motherfucker gonna revert right back to some man. Eventually. I'm just saying. I want to know what Darius McGrady will have to say about this. Eddie Winslow. Anybody ask him about this shit? Oh, I should look it up. I'll look it up in a minute.
Even if Sidney Star thought that young boy was 19 years old, what's the excuse for not disclosing what you are before doing anything with them? That right there is a different level of predatory on its own. Before you compile that with Sidney Star just being an absolute predator and a pedo, that right there is predatory on its own. You understood that young boy thought you was a biological woman. You understood that young boy thought.
Hold on real quick, folks. Hold on. Shit. Hold on. Okay, let's go.
Thought you was born a woman.
So did the boy know he was going up to the room to have possibly, or thought it was?
I don't know, but I would think he knew because she was asking him on the elevator about condoms. And then she went in there, they said she gave him orals. And I think when she tried to penetrate him, or she did, I don't know. Because the sister said they did a kid. So
I'll be honest with y'all, bro.
Let's play it over again.
I don't know because the sister said they did a kid. So
I'll be honest with y'all, bro. For something to this degree.
All right, that's all I want to play on that. I just want to play that part. I'm not gonna play the whole thing because we already know what's going on already. Let me go back over here. Let me look up something. Now, I don't think that he said anything I don't think that let me see. What is this?
Comes now the defendant in the above style case buying through undersigned counsel petitions this honorable court to set bail for petitioner in such reasonable amount as this honorable court should deem fit and proper. Defendant meets the criteria.
Let me see what this is. Okay. They saying that motherfucker made it trying to get out of jail. Sidney Star. Let's go ahead and read this and see what's going on.
Comes now the defendant in the above style case buying through undersigned counsel petitions this honorable court to set bail for petitioner in such reasonable amount as this honorable court should deem fit and proper. Defendant meets the criteria for the bond set in Ayala versus the state. Defendant is unable to make an unreasonable bond because defendant is indigent and can post nothing more than a normal bond. Wherefore, defendant prays this court after a hearing, set a reasonable bond amount, and grant any other necessary and proper relief. Respectfully submitted this 6th day of August 2020. Well, all right. So you ain't got no money. Take your broke ass home. It makes sense with what we're about to uncover in a moment. Fulton County, you got y'all favorite, the Sidney Star favors. Petition for expedited bail pursuant to OCGA 17-6-1. Defendant Sidney Favors files this petition for expedited bond pursuant to OCGA 17-6-1, respectfully requesting that this honorable court release defendant on bail on an expedited basis pursuant to the same shit. We're just not going to read it again. Or hold a hearing regarding bail for defendant at the earliest convenient time. Defendant was arrested on August 2nd, 2026 in Hateville, Georgia on charges of alleged aggravated child with that ill on it, and an alleged hitting from the back and alleged ex-battery relating to an alleged incident at a hotel. Defendant has been in custody in the Fulton County Jail since her arrest. Defendant has lived in the Chicago area her entire life. Defendant's parents and siblings reside in the Chicago area. Defendant is 37 years old and has no...
She's from Chicago then, folks. Y'all taking the L on that one. Minister Jap knew about it. Minister Jap knew about that. I mean, y'all motherfuckers probably thought she was from California. Most of y'all probably, oh, she's from where you at, Red? Yeah, they're all them freaks out there. Yeah. Hey, nah. She's from Chicago. Illinois. Let's go.
Criminal record. Defendant works in the television industry. The purpose of the pretrial bond is to prevent punishment before conviction and secure the appearance of a person in court for trial. A defendant has a presumptive right to remain on bail until conviction. We're not going to read all these goddamn cases that they're bringing up. The sponsor of this video is Clote. And there are a lot of people 7th of this year, right? And what happened was, and this is all real, this is literally out of my damn inbox. They put up my social, they put up my full name, they put up my birthday, they even put up every number I ever had and every address that I ever freaking lived at. These are real text messages, by the way, sent via goddamn Instagram. So when you see me go hard for coke, understand, I didn't know how they got that info. That's the second time in 5 years that people try to extort my personal info. You know, with that QR code, or tap the link in the description, or take the challenge. If you don't like it, hey, right to bail before the trial is preserved and presumption of innocence secured only after centuries of struggles would lose its meaning. Furthermore, the 8th Amendment prohibition against requiring excessive bail obligates courts to deny bail only for the strongest of reasons. Bail should only be denied where there is substantial evidence making it clear that the right to bail may be abused or the community may be threatened by its applicant's lease. This just sounds like the normal shit that they normally do. So whoever a lawyer is, this is something they already done use. And it says bail is not to be denied merely because of the community's sentiment against the accused. Yeah, this is some copy and paste shit. I can already tell. Finally.
Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. I'm sorry, man. But I know motherfuckers will try to put it on California. Oh, yeah, she's from California. I'm motherfucker from Chicago, Illinois. Shit. Nah, man. Sorry about that. Take the L on that one, man. Shit, man. Shit. Gotta take the L on that one. Many times California took the L. Shit. Oh, no. Let's continue, man.
Finally, doubts regarding whether bail should be granted should always be resolved in favor of defendant. As the United States Supreme Court, we don't give a shit. Defendant has been charged with an offense bailable only before a judge of this court. Yeah, more copy and paste shit. Furthermore, defendant presents any significant risk of committing a felony is granted release on bail. Once again, more copy and paste shit. But what they did was they have a female version and a male version because it says, pursuant to the presumption in favor of bond, resolving any doubts in favor of defendant requests that the court set bail for defendant on the charges against defendant in a reasonable amount and subject conditions which will satisfy the court, and defendant will not abuse her right to bail and will not pose any threat to the community or hold a hearing at the earliest convenience to determine bail. Once again, and then they put in the charges. And they actually go through. I don't want to read these words because it would demonetize the shit out of this video. So it just goes on to say the grounds and the facts and authority. I want to read these words because it would demonetize the shit out of the hearing at the earliest convenience to determine bail. Once again, and then they put in the charges.
Okay, reduce bond 85 to set defendant charge. Multiple acts of child molestation. Okay. Find the trial judge did not abuse discretion setting bail at 10,000 defendant. This certain okay. Okay, these okay. I see. She was trying to get it. She's trying to get a what you call it. I see what it is. Trying to get 10,000 instead of 80, and they put a case in there where the bond with the same type of case that he got 85, and he said, well, we got to reduce it down to 10,000.
And they actually go through. I don't want to read these words because it would demonetize the shit out of this video. So it just goes on to say the grounds and the facts and authorities set forth herein. Defendant Sidney Favors respectfully prays that the court grant defendant's petition for expedited bond pursuant to that, and then the order release defendant on bail on an expedited basis, or hold a hearing regarding bail for defendant at the earliest convenient time. Respectfully submitted this 7th day of August. Anthony C. Lake. So essentially what just happened is, hey, judge, please don't give us no crazy ass bond. We already broke. We ain't got that much money. So help it play out, play it. Then on top of that, that's preemptive because Sidney Star doesn't have a bond. But there was an interesting thing that happened with Tasha.
Yeah, there's no bond. She got no bond. They didn't give her no bond. So it just don't really matter, really.
Okay, shout out Tasha K. Where she revealed some shit that we got to kind of clear up and all this stuff because they haven't made the reports available just yet. So what I want to do is play this clip because it's very important to correct the story because I really believe my theory, and my theory y'all just not gonna like, but it just makes the most damn sense. Roll it.
Sidney Star, because I am seeing, and I don't know if you saw it in the comments, they're saying that this is Sidney Star's karma, which I think is absurd that karma would be in the form of a child. And 2, they are blaming the parents.
I don't understand how they could blame the parents. If this teen, this little boy, was in a hotel.
Oh no, it is karma. It's karma for Shingy. No. And we don't know how many Tasha K. We don't know how many other young boys she was with. Like Funky Neva said, this ain't your first rodeo with this shit. You've been doing this shit. Come on now, stop it. Karma's karma. And if Tasha don't believe in karma, she in some trouble. If she did anything crazy and shit and didn't pay for it, it's gonna come back on her. It is what it is. But anyway, let's go.
Hell, happened to go down for snacks or whatever and ran into Sidney Star down at the snack machine. It's not the parents' fault. It's Sidney Star's fault. Okay, Sidney Star, from what I've read, followed that boy throughout the lobby. Got tricked him out of his phone number. Got him to come upstairs. Like,
I don't know. This is kind of irresponsible talk to me a little bit. You a parent. No, I don't know. I don't know about this. But anyway, let's go.
That's not the
and
parents'
even
fault.
Rose, as a woman, said the boy didn't know that Sidney was a man. And then I'm being dragged on X right now for referring to this man as a man. Said I'm misgendering him. I said, you delusional ass ingrates. That's a whole man in a wig. They took off the wig and they put on the booking male, 5'9".
No wig, no buns, honey. No wig, no buns. Yeah.
There's the thing. I spoke to.
Yeah, but it still got them big fake titties that's bigger than yours. Shit out here. Come on, man. Stop that shit. Oh no. We couldn't take that off. And that fake BBL. Everything else, yes. You a man with big tit. BBL. Sassy man. Anyway, let's go.
To the parents, they are lawyering up. They plan on fighting. One of the sentences carry, I believe it's like 25 years to life.
Being deceived like that as a child, I'm just sure that child is going to need therapy from here on out. Can you imagine?
So for the people out there who don't get looking at two different sides, you're not going to understand this in the initial part. So let me just clear the goddamn elephant in the room. If Sidney Star did this shit, go to jail forever. I don't care. I don't give a shit. If this person knowingly went and took this young dude, knowing that this young dude was a boy, Damon.
I am a boy! You are not in prison anymore, Damon!
Then damn it, sit your ass in jail and kick it with the dudes. You better do what Young Thug once upon a time said.
I'm on that Hugh Hefner shit, man. If I ever was to have to go sit down 20, 25 years, the time they let you sit at home with your family, I'm bound to go get my motherfucking breast did. I'm bound to get my titty did so I can do my 25 year with hoes. Have me some fun, man. I don't get tired.
So let me make that emphatically clear, because the next shit I'm about to say, y'all gonna pretend I never said the shit in the beginning. So if Sidney Star did this shit, is undeniable proof. Hey, there's some text messages that come out where the little dude like, I'm only 13, and Sidney Star like, I don't give a shit. Cheeks, nigga, cheeks. Then shit, go to jail forever. We just gonna put that out there because I'm not taking a stance on shit. But here's what I truly believe. I believe that Sidney Star was selling that ass. I'm sorry, not sorry. I believe Sidney Star was selling that ass, got catfished out the money, and little buddy more than likely didn't know that it had Franken beans. We just gonna be fair, square, obvious, and honest.
Now, that could be a point because we know that a lot of them do be selling ass out here in these streets. We got clients.
Because the story that the lady just told, that ain't even true. Sidney Star's at the bar. There was a restaurant there. Little dude started talking to Sidney Star, started spitting his ism. These reality TV stars they go through seasons with their money. They don't know how to hold their money. So what happens is they get a little upfront fee to take care of certain shit, then have to finish out their season, and then they get paid. But because they don't know how to hold on to their money, a lot of these individuals that do reality TV, I'm talking men and women, that's why I just say individuals, they are in a financial problem. They in a bind, Nate.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Some other time. But regardless the bind that they are in, I think Sidney Star was selling it. That's what I believe. I have no proof or anything like that. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. I believe Sidney Star was selling that shit. And was selling that shit and selling that shit and selling that shit. And little buddy heard a price, had a little bit of money, and probably...
So now he is insinuating that her son was on these sites propositioning. I don't know. That's a hard case to prove. At 13, where the parents at? Now that's why people is blaming the parents. Where the parents at? If this is the case, if homie here is right, where the parents at? How the hell you gonna let your son sitting there paying for pussy on way underage, paying for Pete? Well, it was booty he was paying for. He didn't know. All right, hold on. Okay, let me continue. But anyway, hey. This gonna be crazy when it comes out. And what if they go to court and all this comes out that it was selling? But the problem is, if you should have knew that was a kid, so it's still gonna fall back on her. I know what he's saying, but it still fall back on him. Because once you find out that, oh no, maybe that's why you're giving the money back. Maybe that's why I gotta give you $40. Get the money back. Nah, Sidney Star is finished, brother. I don't know. It's all the way bad for her. Him. Bad for her, him.
But so, like, hey, you know, if I finesse this real quick, I'm going to just pop out and be like, I'm going to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Going to put on the hush-hush. Because y'all can't tell me these young teenage boys ain't running around here horny as hell. I was. Like, when I was 13, bro, man, what? Hell nah. You'd have thought I had a goddamn carrot in my goddamn pocket all the time. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Them hormones when you a young man, bro, that testosterone going through your shit, you just like, hell nah. Somebody got to get this shit. And the older women look amazing. I wasn't attracted to the goddamn girls my age when I was their age. When I was 13, I ain't like shit 13. My shoe size was 12. I ain't give a shit about none of that. Man, I wanted grown, because in my head, that's what I was around. Older cats who had girlfriends, who had cars, who had all this shit. So I'm like, man, shit, I want the same shit. And the only way to do this shit was to literally find something that was older. The sister, though, on Tasha K's platform said this, and this is where the quote-unquote parent shit disappears. The sister said he was there for some football camp, and that's where they were staying. So it's not on the parents, it's on the coaches. Can't blame the parents if the parents ain't even there. If I entrust...
Oh, because I thought the parents was there. They trying to insinuate the parents was there or some shit, but no, it was the coaches. Okay. All right, then. Now, it'll make a little more sense now. Okay. So how can you blame the parents? This had to do with the coaching staff. But it was with a football thing. Okay.
My kids with the coaches, with the chaperones, with the adults. That's on the adults. Y'all have my express written permission to take my kid and care for my kid as though my kid is your own child. And people are acting like it's the parents' fault. You cannot blame the goddamn parents in this scenario from what we heard previously on Tasha K's shit. So what happens now? Sidney Star will get a bond. The bond is going to be low. I think they're preemptive striking that shit by saying Sidney Star's indigent. When you say you're indigent, you ain't got no money. That's the basic term for a nice person saying, I'm broke. Ain't all the way broke, but I ain't got the money that you want. It's the shit when I tell a girl we pulling up the Popeyes instead of going to Benihana's. I ain't taking up.
All right. That's enough on that. Yeah, I wanted to play that. So let me get on back over here. Now let's get on to the other thing. But we got to see what's gonna happen. So it looked like Sidney Star might get a bond. I don't know, but they said it was no bond. So I don't see how that's gonna happen if they're trying to push down with a bond. So let's go ahead and talk about tattoos, black people in tattoos. I wanted to talk about this because, you know, the topic came up and a lot of people were saying that why all these women out here, I mean, got all these tattoos now and stuff right there. And then I was trying to see why the women got tattoos. So they're saying it's for self-expression, cultural connection, personal empowerment, and aesthetic beauty. They said Pew Research Center say that black Americans 39% and women 38% among the most likely group that have tattoos. But that wasn't the case a long time ago, making body art a high priority within this intersection. Okay. They say the reason is ancient traditions, you know, modify the body, Africa, you know, passion, spiritual connection, indicators of lineage, social status, ancient Egypt, Nubian, and then you have survival ancestry during the transatlantic slave, physical marking, sometimes using tribal identifiers to recognize and reunite families. And modern black women often choose design to reclaim this stolen heritage and autonomy and empowerment. Reclaiming the body. Black woman's body was historically being subjugated to social hypersexualization, hypermasculinization, and strict beauty standards. Tattoos often is a powerful tool for the body autonomy, allowing women to choose how their skin is viewed. I don't know. You guys agree with that shit? I don't know. Okay, and then it's therapy and healing. Most women use tattoos to commemorate major milestones. Process through trauma, celebrating resilience, or medical scars such as mastectomy scars after breast reconstruction. Interesting. Now I'm doing it about the black women because of people. Hope your guys get on here saying I don't want no woman with tattoos, all these tattoos. Now we're trying to figure out the reason why they getting it. Okay, complementing the melanin in their skin. Okay, tattooing is deeper skin tone require specific knowledge of color theory, and that black women use warm pigment and bold line work, beautiful complement to highlight their natural melanin. Okay, permanent makeup, microblading, eyebrow shading, lip brush, increasing use as time-saving cosmetic solution to enhance facial features. Okay, the challenge in the social stigma. Historical, visible, tattooed black women face double discrimination from conservative cultural expectations and professional colorism. Today is a growing network of black female tattoo artists is breaking these barriers. Okay, they're talking about the first licensed black tattoo artist, Jackie Grissom, paved the way for modern icons like Rihanna and Mary J. Blige to normalize visible ink as a symbol of high fashion and black girl magic. Okay, that's why. Okay, they say in the past, many black women avoid getting tattooed due to colonial suppression. Because I asked the question, why did black women didn't get tattoos in the past? So this is the answer they gave me. Due to colonial suppression of African body art, severe gender and racial stigma, religious taboos, there's a lot that really stopped. And a lack of access of tattoo technology, which is I'm gonna get to in a minute. Okay. Body modification historically celebrated in pre-colonial Africa and it shifted towards Western standard, respectively altered how tattoos are viewed in a decade. I think, to tell you the truth, the tattoos started becoming more popular when hip-hop came into the game, more among black people, the younger black people, because those rappers, they had tattoos. They had tattoos and stuff. A lot of them from the streets, and we on the streets, we got a lot of tattoos and stuff. Signify what gang you from, this and that, what street you from, representing, like they were saying for the black women, it was saying for the men, keeping up with certain traditions and stuff, and social acceptance and all that. Okay, let's say, and then you have the cultural, before European colonization, traditional tattoo and sacrification were widely practiced across Africa to mark identity, lineage, and spiritual protection. Savage label, European colonizers and missionaries demonized these practices, labeled them as primitive or demonic. This forced many ancestral tradition underground or into erasure. That's why you didn't see it in the past as much, like my generation and before. But we got a lot of people that's in my generation had tattoos, man, but a lot of us didn't. You could say, like, what, out of my generation X is 1966, well, that's the Generation X, the first Generation X, probably 4 out of 6 probably had tattoos. Men had tattoos. And most of them was from the streets. Most of them from the streets, street life or whatever, stuff like that. Or they was in the music. A lot of musicians get tattoos. Okay, and then we got here protecting black womanhood for generation in Western society. Black women's bodies was heavily scrutinized, protect themselves from harmful stereotypes. Many adhere to strict, respectable policies, behave and dress in a way that conform to the dominant conservative society. Yeah, back then it was like you ain't supposed to have that. You had tattoos back in the day and stuff. You could deem as a heretic, a thug. But when the concept of a thug became popular among black people, became accepted, then everybody started getting tattoos. It's like, go figure. Okay, the spiritual prohibitions in many traditional African household religious faith, I think Christianism played a massive role. There was taboos. Okay, the body is a temple. Tattoos frequently preached as ungodly, sinful. Many young black women were raised with strict beliefs that modify the skin. An act of rebellion against God and the family value. Was that the case? I don't know. The lack of representation and technology. Now, gatekeepers in the industry. And we got these gatekeepers in all industry. Even rock and roll we playing, you know. They kept black people out of rock and roll a lot, you know. It's a certain, but it was always mainly white men, white well-male men. Let me read this. Until the late 20th century, Western electric tattoo industry was heavily gatekeeped. White males dominate the space. Black people face severe barriers when trying to secure professional apprenticeship. See, they didn't want you in it. It's like they want you in a lot of things, but now you're in it now, so it's it's different now, Even in rock and roll, you see more and more black folks listening to playing rock and roll guitar and that and all that. Now, stuff they didn't usually do, surfing and stuff. It was another one that was kind of gatekeep and stuff, with that media surfing. Some of the gatekeep was from our own people. We were saying, oh, you doing white boy shit. The way you do it, that's white people do that. You don't do it. Not anymore. Not anymore. Okay, the early mainstream tattoo artists rarely practice on dark skin tones. Okay, they often falsely claim that a tattoo wouldn't be done successfully on melanated skin, which deterred black women from seeking out. Yeah, they said they did everything. But the landscape change shift in 1970 when pioneer Jackie Grisham opened the Louisiana Ola's continuous tattoo business, began normalizing Afrocentric body art for women. Okay. Now, what's the ages of these women that have tattoos? Okay, 1849 is the most likely to have tattoos. Ages from 18 to 49. So that's the alpha generation all the way to the millennial. Basically, millennial, older millennial. Is that older millennial? Let me see what millennial is. Millennial. 45, so 45, so that's about right. 49. So that's about a little bit past generation. It's still in Generation X, a little bit in Generation X. So 30 to for millennial is between 30 and 45. So there's almost all the millennials basically in a little bit of the Generation X. 49. Okay. All right. Okay. This is a breakdown. Okay, now the tattoos rated by age is gender group. Now they say Black America is 39%. The most tattooed racial demographic in the United States. How did that happen? If it was a white man first, okay, women 38. Have more tattoos than men, 27%. Younger women, 18, 19. So the women have more tattoos than men. Maybe they suffer the most pain. Maybe they'll deal with the most pain. Maybe that's probably why. And, they're more connected with spirituality. They get into the tarot card reading, occult and stuff. So they might put more I can see that. Okay, the younger women, the highest rate, 56, reporting at least one tattoo. I kind of figured the younger one because of that and what I was saying, mentioning in hip hop music now. You know, they completely missing hip hop, and everybody in hip hop got tattoos, basically. There's 80% of the age group represent the peak tattoo demographic. More than half of the women have ink. For young black women, tattoos are deeply mainstream, culturally normalized, and frequently used for aesthetic, self-expression, and identity. So 18, 19, they are almost all got it. Almost all half the women. Okay, let's see. 30 to 90, 49, which is millennial and Gen X. This group is the highest overall rate. General adults, 46. You have time to celebrate milestones. Process of life transition, display Afrocentric pride, or to get cosmetic, permanent makeup, microblading. Now, the 50 to 64, which I'm in, that's what it says. It drops down to 25%. You know, black women in this age range grew up during a time when tattoos carry a heavy social stigma, making ink less common but highly intentional when choosing. You got a tattoo. You got one tattoo. Why you got that tattoo on you? What's wrong with you? Well, you can hear it. At age 65, that's only 13%. You know, they wasn't having it back then. Shit, you in the silent generation, the older boomers, it wasn't having it. No tattoos. Red, tattoo is a sign of low self-esteem. Oh, it is? It is? Uh-oh. Okay, the black women in the age group rarely have tattoos due to... I don't got no tattoos. Due to his respectable politics through growing twin. I'm one of those... Didn't want to do that to my body. And then I didn't suffer enough pain or something. I don't know. I wasn't trying to follow the leader either. When the rap thing came in and everybody started getting... I wasn't trying to do that shit. At one point, I was thinking it would hang with these fools I was hanging with, you know, but after a while, I said, oh, hell no, man, I ain't doing that shit. You ain't messing my body up. But that's me, you know, I'm not between that 65. I'm basically the older Gen Xer. I'm one of the older Gen Xer and the boomer. But anyway. Let's see. Going to the seniors, getting late in life tattoo, seeing again. Now, there's some seniors that get tattoos that just want to live life. They said, man, I never got a tattoo. I'm going to get a tattoo. I'm about to die, and this and that, or I just got over cancer. I can see the seniors doing that, you know, just, you know, I feel good. Now, by demographic race, had the most tattoos. This is crazy here. It says black Americans, the demographic group, race with the most tattoos. How does this happen? I'm saying, actually, how does this happen? Overall, 32% of all American adults have at least one tattoo. So overall, 32% of all Americans, all around the whole America, got one tattoo. Now, they said a tattoo ownership by race, ethnicity. Okay, 39% black. Okay, Hispanic, 35. Yeah, because they, you know, remember a lot of them is in the gangs and stuff like us. This and that, third, and they represent their lineage, you know, maybe lineage, you know, gaining in or whatever, what they went through, whatever. The kids on there. They always put their kids on, you know, get tatted with the kids and mom or whatever. You know, and then white people is 32%. So it's real close, man. It's not that, and the Asians 14. So a lot of Asians don't have tattoos unless you in what? The gangs, in criminality, Yakuza, the Chongs. You got tattoos, or you just a person that's love music and you in a certain form of music, like heavy metal or something like that, or golf music. You can have all those tattoos. Punk music, yeah. It is what it is. Other leading demographic, okay, sexual orientation. They said the LGBT Americans are the highest overall demographic group, with 51 of the lesbian, gay, bisexual having at least one tattoo. I didn't know that. I didn't know that the LGBTQ got the highest level of tattoos. Asian, a young woman between 18 and 29 are acceptable for having one art. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of girls now. I didn't see that before, but most all the girls you might come across, they say 56% got at least got a tattoo, one or two, depending on what part of the country, part of the city you in. You in the lower end of the city, it said right here, income adults from lower income household have higher rate of having body art. Why is that? Sitting at 43% compared to 21 of upper income. Why is that? Why is that the lower people income household have the highest rate of tattoos? Yeah, the trolling cats don't have no tattoos. Now, unless they belong to a sect or something. A sect or something like that, an old sect, whatever. Yeah, they're going to have something, but there's only be that sect, a tattoo of that sect. That's it. Not in all different tattoos, your baby mama, your previous baby mama, your kids and stuff like that. You know, the gang you represent and all that shit. No. Or you just getting tattooed because everybody else got tattooed on their face, then you get a tattoo. That's the problem with tattoo, is spreading. The young ones, they put it out on their face, which that was a no-no. If you get tattooed, you don't put it on your face. Put it on your neck because you're trying to get a job. You have an arm, but like down here it cuts off right here. But they got down here under their fingers and stuff like that. You ain't no rock and roller. If you was a rock and roller, that's different. If you're trying to get a job, unless you working on cars or some shit like that, or you in one of those industries like that, or you driving trucks, but usually, you getting a job or a respectable job, they don't want to see all that tattoos on your neck and your face and stuff like that. They want it right here, cut right by the elbow. Tattoos on the roll past here. They don't know that on the hand, they don't know on the forearm, the hands and nothing like that. That's that right here. Yeah, you can have it there, like cut off right there, like that's it. Yes, yeah, Obama, Bush, Rothschild have no tattoos. Yeah, they don't. So you're not surprised yeah, man, that's crazy, man. But I think a lot of this stuff had to do with pain, and they put that on there because of pain and stuff, And they already free, you could say, because the mainstream society do not accept them. So it's like they lashing out against the mainstream society. This is wild, man. This is wild. So, I don't know. You got any tattoos? I gotta ask you. You asked me. I already said hell. I don't got none. Now, the last thing I'm talking about, man, Atlanta. I want to talk about Atlanta. Atlanta, I think, is probably the gay capital. Maybe the United States, or it says here, Atlanta is widely recognized as the LGBTQ capital of South America. America South. Frequently referred as the gay Mecca or the black gay Mecca due to its large diversity, high visible queer population consisting of perfect score of Human Rights Campaign, Equality Index, city sort of progressive, having a major migration, LGBTQ You see, once rich people started from L.A., L.A. Reid and all these guys started moving to Atlanta back in the 80s, early 90s, big money, building up Atlanta and stuff. Who you think was going to follow them? The gay population. Gay people want to live around. This is my opinion. I think they want to live around folks that got a lot of money. They're rich. They don't want to be. And they know that some of these guys that's rich is on the other side. I'm not saying all rich people are on the other side, but a lot of them, just in the music industry or something like that, which I didn't know. There's a lot of motherfuckers in the music industry kind of on that side, dog. It's wild. Some of us can't get no record deal or some shit like that. Oh, Dinga said, hell no. No, I ain't got that either. Yeah. So, they said Midtown in Atlanta is the historic heart of the queer culture, the intersection of 10th Street from Piedmont Avenue. And then there's a mall out there where it's the mall, but it's actually a gay mall. I don't know what that mall is called. I forgot what it's called. But they all be up in that mall. That's the gay mall or something like that. That's crazy. Is it Piedmont? Okay, we're going to crosswalk act like an anchor for queer nightlife. Ansley Square. Retail Nightlife Plaza, Midtown, hosting staple like Atlanta Eagle, Leather Bar, Fleck, okay, and then East Atlanta Village. EAV is a gritty indie neighborhood, proper with younger queer residents, non-binary individual, creative, and then Decatur. I thought Decatur wasn't like that. It's a city near Italy, celebrate welcome them after feel a large lesbian community. I didn't know Decatur was like that. Okay, notable nightlife institution, My Sister Room. Okay, Out the Closet is a thrift store. Referee Fund, HIV Medical offer free on-site testing. The Blake on the Park Wolves, a bar catered to dance music and fans and sports alike. The major venue is the Atlanta Pride Festival. Okay, the Piedmont Park, okay, and then the Black Pride taking part of Labor Day weekend, one of the largest celebrations in the entire world. Damn. Pulling off 250 attendees. This Atlanta Pride Festival. Jeez. And then it says, I asked the black population in Atlanta how many. The black population in Atlanta is 46%. That's 234,000 people. While the resident remains single racial group in the city, okay, the census confirmed that Atlanta is no longer is a majority black city. It shift due to the steady declining of a peak in 1980 where it was 66.5 black. Damn. Because they talk about the housing causing, okay, the metro area. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. I asked what is the gay population in Atlanta? Okay, you said estimate 30,000 to 40,000 individuals live in the city limits, expanding over 60 to 70,000 residents, including the broader metro area. Okay, the Census Bureau does not track sexual orientation and race simultaneously. The grander level exact number will be extrapolated from leading demographic studies. The analysts of the Williams Institute of UCLA Law Gallup poll indicate roughly 6% of Atlanta total population is both black and LGBTQ. They said 6% of the total Atlanta population. Now, these figures is, reputation of as a gay man boosting one of the highest concentration of black openly LGBTQ individuals in the world. To break down the math, okay, the LGBTQ percentage, about 12.8% of Atlanta population identifies as gay. That's 12%. The black percent is about 64. 46 of Atlanta population is black. Okay, that's about half, basically. And the rest is white, I guess, whatever. Right there, okay. The intersection of black Americans identified with is slightly higher rate, 4.6, other than other racial queer population. Atlanta is heavily diversified. Let me confirm that 30% of the entire live in it. They said 30% of the entire LGBTQ population in the metro Atlanta is black. Okay, now here it goes another part here. Okay, according to the data William Institute, within the black LGBTQ population, women actually outnumber men 61 to 39. So it's more women that are gay than men. Atlanta high visibility in queer black man is driven by cultural influence and most life, not because make up a little demographic majority. And they're going back to the the Pride weekend, which is the largest black LGBT celebration in the world and all that. Okay. Bulldogs, they're saying, okay, that's a prestigious, okay, a legend has been a premier gathering place for black gay men. Bulldogs. So they call these black men bulldogs. Okay, I wonder why. I hope I don't catch y'all niggas down there. Some of y'all live in Atlanta, man. We located, we over in the Bulldogs. Okay, record and encounter. Okay, located. Okay, organization that focus on shift the narrative, provide resources, and celebrate black queer culture. So, folks, that's all I want to talk about. I wanted to do that kind of thoroughly, talk about Atlanta. The people was talking about, Atlanta, this is Sodom and Gomorrah, shit. Now I see why. It's the Mecca. All black people are not brothers. As black men, you have more in common with whites. Color construct is a test by God. Oh, okay. Oh, dang it, that's a decent statement right there, man. Okay. I had to talk about that. People don't want to talk about. We got to talk about all kind of stuff that people don't want to talk about. But next thing I want to talk about is Kendra G. It's the last thing I'm talking about. Kendra G, a girl you love. A girl that started the dating thing, the dating show on her YouTube channel. Apparently, she got a deal with Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey gave her own show. I didn't know this. Dude, I was looking at one of his Jab videos. Said she got her own show. Oh shit! She got her own show on the old network. And the purpose is to build her own viral matchmaking platform, Kendra G Singles. That's what she. So, man, this is wild. Wait, hold on real quick. All right, I'm back. All right, last thing. Kendra G got on the show. I know a lot of men on here, especially in the Red Pill spaces, Mansfield, Wood, Black Man. Especially I've seen a lot of y'all went in on Kendra G. This and that and third, but she blew up. Just like Tasha K. Got to deal with the oceanic trade winds. Big deal. Promoting her show, going public, promote her show even better. You know, same people who work with Wendy Williams. It's like these sisters y'all talking about is moving up in the world. Moving on up. I don't know, man. Wow, these brothers on here, man, they getting their channels knocked, you know, terminated, you know, banned, shadow banned. These brothers just moving right along, getting big ass deals. I don't know. Kevin Samuels was your biggest man, but he's gone. Didn't even have time to enjoy his the fruit of his labors. It's insane, crazy. But you know, this hooking up with Oprah like that, oh no, that's big time. You can't get no bigger than Oprah. But we know what Oprah, you know, represent. So hey, it is what it is. But hey, I don't know. You're giving these black women these deals, these big deals, you know. And now, you know, she gonna have some money now. If she didn't have no money, she gonna have some money now. And you know, she was already going in on the Kevin Samuels high value man shit. I think Minister Jab did a video about it, saying that, you know, she got to deal with Oprah off of stealing Kevin Samuels' talking points. Is he correct? Did Kendra D stole Kevin Samuels' formula and used it to come up, and now she got a big show? It's gonna have a big show. I'm just saying. Tell me what you think. But anyway, I'm out of here, man. That's it for me. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate it. You know, you want to support the channel, you know what to do. Oh, let me take the poll. How many people you think have more than one tattoo? Okay, 56% say 100 to 80. 75, 50, 22, 20, 40 to 20, 11%, and then 10 to 0, which is me, and Odinga, 11%. In the poll, only 9 people voting. Hope I got some more people. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, they go. Lennox Mall. That's right. What is Spirit of Justice? Yeah. The whole mall smell like, hey, that's the mall, man. What, you been there? I know. Lennox Mall. Yeah, that's the mall they be talking about. They got a whole mall. Hey, man. That's the gay Mecca. That's the gay Mecca. What's y'all the Spirit of Justice? I didn't see you in the house. Let me just give you an applaud. Oh, I gotta laugh at that Lennox Mall. Give that real quick. Give you applause. So, you know, support the channel. This ain't Cash App. I could use water fund, beer fund, whatever. You know, I thought I'd get somebody to hit me up with something, but apparently not. Jeez. Oh, you know. But anyway, you know, there's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. But anyway, it's Sunday usually, you know. I mean, back in the day when I was getting some support, real support, I used to be getting it, you know, on the weekend. So that's why I know these people, if they lose support on here, some of these people, they get big support. If they lose support, they're going to lose their mind. I know, Anger Man, I know that. Fatty and all them, they're going to lose support. They can't deal with this. Not getting no support, not getting no super chat or something like that. Oh, man, they're going to lose their mind. They'll start losing their mind. Hold on real quick. All right. I saw something. I wonder. But anyway, I'm out of here, man. Thank you for coming through. You know, support the channel. Support the channel and give me a like, give me a sub. That's the main thing. Sub and like, sub, like. Oh, I got 4. Come on, we give me more than that. Many people came in and out. I should have more subs than that. You know, give me a sub at least. Jeez. You know. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm out of here.